And we're live. Hello and welcome to the Virtual Cafe. I'm your host, Segilola Salami. What can I get you?
Hey, my name's A Bello. My pen name's A Bello. I'm an author, children's YA at the moment. My book is called Emily Knight I Am. That's the first book in the series. I should be releasing book 2 latest by next year. I'm the co-founder of the Author School, which basically helps authors from manuscript stage all the way up to the book launch. We've just launched our online course, which is amazing. And we've got our full day of classes on September 26th. We've got a summer sale on that ends today, so get a ticket if you can do. And we are currently working on building up our own publishing house to work with a selected few of authors every single year, just to help them with their book process and to really collaborate with them and really be connected with them. And I also run the Little Author School, which is for young writers. And I do these competitions that gets them to send in their stories and they get the chance to be published.
Yeah, wow, you've got a lot going on. How'd you get time to do anything else? Hello?
Hello, sorry. Can you say that again, please?
For a second, I thought I'd lost you. I said
it went really quiet.
You sound quite busy. How do you get time to do anything else with, the different schools and your author house? Like, how do you get anything done?
I don't know. To be honest, I tend to not think about it, because if I think about it, I get overwhelmed. So I just do it. That's like that's the only advice I can give anyone is just do it and don't think about it. I'm a dancer as well, so I teach dance around London, and I just don't think about it. I just get on with it and pray I don't get ill, and that's it really. Yeah.
Wow, my head is just spinning, just going through all the different things that you do, and I thought I was the one who was super busy.
No, you're like Superwoman, so.
Okay, so what was the title of your first book again?
The title of my first book is called Emily Knight I Am. So Emily Knight is the name of the main character and the series, and I Am is like the subtitle.
Okay, so what is it about?
So it's basically a children's crossover YA fantasy story about a young girl called Emily. She's 13 and she's a warrior. So what it is that she has powers, she can fly, she can create fireballs, and warriors are like made to battle. That's just how they're programmed, and they live in our world. It's like fantasy meets reality. So people are very much aware of warriors, that they exist, and they either like them or they don't. It's very clear what they are. And Emily happens to just be the daughter of one of the strongest warriors to exist, so he's extremely famous, and Emily kind of carries that weight of pressure to live up to his standards, and it's just kind of her journey into finding out who she is as a person. That's why it's called I Am. And she gets in a situation where she has to choose between the two people that she loves the most, and if she picks the wrong decision, it can lead to a war between the warrior world. So she has a lot of pressure on her hands, being a 13-year-old kid who just kind of wants to make friends, to be honest. So yeah.
Oh wow. Okay, so is that self-published, or do you have a traditional trade publisher?
So with Emily Knight, that was self-published. I self-published that when I was 23, so I'm now 28. And 6 months after publication, I got signed to an agent. We've been offered deals by some pretty cool traditional publishing companies. I was offered a free book deal early this year. Unfortunately, I didn't feel like they were the right deals. The contracts, there were certain things in them that I didn't feel very comfortable with, and especially like with the free book deal I was offered, which I really did want to sign, but going back and forth, it just wasn't really working out. I didn't really feel comfortable giving away a book I've worked on since I was like 12 years old to someone if I didn't feel like they were really getting the essence of it. So I'm still awaiting for a traditional deal for that series, but at the moment I'm more than fine self-publishing it and just building the brand and getting it out there.
Yeah, you see, now that sounds amazing, and I can imagine some listeners might think, You crazy woman! How do you get a trade publisher, a trade deal, and then say no? It wasn't okay. So, okay, so just tell us your timeline, right? So you published it,
Yeah.
5 years ago.
Yeah.
And then 6 months later, you got offered a deal.
Yes.
So how did that happen? Did you contact them? Did you approach them, or did they just randomly approach you? What exactly happened?
So it's a weird story. Basically, when I published Emily, I didn't really, well, I was 23. I didn't really know what I was doing, if I'm totally honest with you. I was kind of guessing. And I had been invited by this company called Brit Writers. I don't think they exist anymore. But they had seen my book, and the founder had seen it somewhere, wanted to do an interview with me. So we did that. Then he wanted to meet up with me. So we met up, and then he invited me to come to their award ceremony they do every December. And he said, I can give you a table so you can like sell your books, promote it. And I was like, okay, great. So as I was there, I brought my friend with me to help me mind the table. And that's where we met Helen Lewis, who's the co-founder of the Author School with me. She's a book PR. So she had asked my friend, are you a PR? She was like, no, I'm just good at talking. And she was like, who does A Bello's PR? And she was like, she does it herself. So she gave my friend her card. So then I called Helen. We had a conversation. She became my PR. She got me great PR, great press. And she was going to the London Book Fair. I had never been before. I didn't really want to go. I didn't really get it, to be honest. And she was like, I think you should come. I think it'd be a great way to get an agent. And I was like, right, okay. So then I agreed to come with her. And she said to me, go through the whole of the directory and message every single agent and request a meeting. So the directory is A to Z, and it's very long. So I did that. And by this point, I was so over getting an agent because I tried since I was like 18. And it's like I'd almost get one, but then didn't. So I was just completely sick of it. And I felt very confident because I'd published my own book, and I was like, I could do this myself. You know, that confidence you have when you're a kid. And I went for the directory, and I remember I got about halfway, and I was like, oh, this is useless. No one's even getting back to me. I had done some submissions, if they had a submissions page still open, but I wasn't really getting any responses. So I stopped. Helen had like a sixth sense or something, and she was like, have you carried on with this directory? And I was like, I mean, I will. So I carried on again. And then I had submitted, I can't remember who the first agency was that got back to me, but the second one was Raimondi and Campbell. So I had 2 responses back. So I was like, okay, cool. I wasn't that excited because that had happened before. And usually after that stage, that's kind of the end of it. So I responded back as I usually do and left it, completely forgot about it. Then Raimondi and Campbell got back to me and said, we really like this. We want to meet with you. And that had never happened before. So I was like, what? What does that mean? So I remember going on Google and writing in, what does it mean when an agent wants to meet with you? And I was like, I don't want to get too excited. And then they turn and I just say, oh, we just wanted to say hi. You know what I mean? Something silly. And then I went to the festival, and the agents were actually upstairs in this room, but I didn't know they were there. So I spent the whole festival trying to find these agents because I knew they were there, and I couldn't find them. And by the time I found them, they were all gone. So, you know. Oh, wow. I know. So maybe that was a blessing in disguise. I don't know. And then I met with Raimondi and Campbell maybe 2 weeks after the London Book Fair. And yeah, we just met in this cafe. We had a little talk. She just asked me about where I want to go with my book. She gave me some suggestions of things. And then they were like, yeah, we want to sign you. And I was like, what? Is it like that easy? Like, it just seemed like I'd been trying it for so long, and it was just like, yeah, here's the deal. It was just crazy. So yeah, and then I got signed to them, and that was kind of that.
Okay, so basically they were your agents. So right, okay. So what sort of terms did they sign you up with, and what were they going to do for you?
So what they would agree to do is they would represent me in my book. So I would send them books, I should say. So what would happen is any book I write, I would send it to them, and then they would approach publishers, mainly the big 5 publishers, the ones that you can't really get to unless you have an agent. And they would approach them and then see what deals they could offer. So I know that we got one offer from quite a big publisher, but I think that went on for ages, and we all thought it was going to happen. And then I think towards the end, I think they realized they had a book that was a bit similar, and they couldn't really justify having another one that was like the same kind of vibe. So then that didn't happen in the end. So that's their job. It's just to basically get your book rights sold, to get you worldwide territories, to get, you know, film rights done. So they're like your first point of contact. But I think what's so great about living in the generation that we're in now is that publishing has changed so much, and there are loads of publishing houses, even some of the big ones, that you can actually go through without having an agent now.
Yeah.
So they're fine with me like approaching publishers myself if I wanted to. They're not like crazy, like you cannot talk to anyone. They're pretty much fine with that. So it's like we're both kind of just searching around trying to find the right deal. And it's funny because I worked in a bar for 6 months and I actually met HarperCollins in the bar.
Oh, well.
I was closing up. Well, I was trying to close up and they weren't leaving. I was like 2 of them. And then one of the regulars was asking about my book and I was just talking. And it was a man and a lady. And I remember they stopped talking and they were just watching me. And then they just went, "Oh, are you an author?" And I was like, "Yeah." And they were like, "Oh, we're publishers." And I was just like, "Oh, okay." Like, I didn't really care because I just thought they were drunk. They were like taking the piss at me. And then they were like, "Yeah, we're from HarperCollins." I was like, "Okay, sure." And I don't know, we are. And they got out their badges and they were. And they were like, "Tell us about your book." So I started telling them and they were like, "Okay, well, pitch to us." So then I did. And then they were like, "Yeah, this is great." They're like, "Do you have an agent?" And I was like, "Yeah." And I said, "Can you get her to email us tomorrow?" And I was just like, "Is this really happening?" And then I thought they must have been so drunk. I don't think they remembered. So before I didn't tell my agent anything before I made her look stupid. So I emailed them and I just said, "Look, I met you last night. I don't know if you remember what happened." And they were like, "No, of course you remember. Yeah, where's your manuscript?" It was nuts, and it was really good because I made a really good contact there. Actually, she's lovely, and my agent spoke to them. It didn't work out, unfortunately, the deal, but I mean, it's just a great story to tell everyone. To be honest.
I know, it is amazing because you think, you know what? I think everyone should go work in a bar at one point in their life or the other because you never know. You never know. Let me guess, was it like one of the central London bars, maybe Soho or one of the East London bars?
Oh no, it was in Highbury.
Oh, okay.
It was on Highbury roundabout, and they had been in there for ages. I thought they were like on a date, these 2 people. And I remember we were closing. I was so tired, and I kept looking at them, thinking, "Why are they not leaving?" And you know, there's things you do in a bar to get people out. So like, you put the lights on, you turn off the music, you start blatantly cleaning so that they're aware that, you know, get out. And they were just there, and I was like, what's their problem? And I was getting so frustrated because I just wanted to go home. And then and then I ended up talking about my book, and then they stopped talking and they were just like eavesdropping, and then they were like, "Yeah, from HarperCollins." And they got us in touch with the children's department. The lady that was in charge of it at the time, she was going on holiday, and she said, "Please send me the manuscript ASAP." So my agent sorted it out, and then I guess they couldn't agree on the terms or whatnot but I was like, I mean, that's really cool that I got to talk to them and made them aware of my book and whatnot. So yeah, that's pretty cool.
Cool. That is a very, very interesting story.
It's a good story.
For the grandkids to hear as well.
I know, it's pretty good.
Before the grandkids come, you probably would have proper, you know, one of the big 5 trade publishers, you know, under your belt as well.
Yeah, I know, right?
Okay, cool. Now that's quite. So your book then, Emily Knight, I Am. So that's still being self-published.
Yes.
Okay. Right. So that's quite interesting. And then, so was that the field that you mentioned at the beginning that didn't go through, or did you have others that came through? So who offered you the 3-book deal?
I'm so sorry. Can you repeat that, please?
And who offered you the 3-book deal?
So a company called LR Price Publications. I think they've been around for maybe 3 years. They're fairly new, small company, and I don't even know how we connected. I think it might have been via Instagram. I think they liked something I had posted on my Instagram, and I was like, "Who are these people?" And I clicked on it. I went to their submissions. I just sent in my thing just to see if I got anything back from it. And then we ended up chatting. I ended up meeting with them. And initially, they just wanted to have book 1 and book 2.
Mm.
And then, I don't know, maybe throughout the conversation, they then thought, actually, let's just take 3 books from her instead. But they're lovely people. But just unfortunately, when we got the contract, we were going back and forth with it. It just wasn't working out. And I just felt like, do you know what? I think you guys want something, I want something, and we're not kind of meeting in the middle, enough for me to give up my rights, you know what I mean? So I just felt like this just isn't for me. I don't think this book is the right book to give away to you. There might be another book maybe in the future I write that might be better. But I just felt like giving away 3 books and we couldn't really agree on certain things. I just felt like it's not really worth it for me. So yeah, but a lot of people are like, you gave up a 3 book deal. I'm like, I know, guys, but it sounds mental, but I swear it was like, I think it was the right thing to do at the time.
You know what I'm going to ask next now, because you've just literally just set yourself up that everybody wants to know what were these terms that we're not agreed on. Okay, well, I would like to know about these publishers. Are they a proper trade publisher that would give you royalty upfront, or are they a hybrid one? Where they expect you to give them some money to go through the publishing process?
Oh, they're traditional, so there was no money I had to give them at all. It's just like with traditional publishing deals, I think what I didn't realize until I really got into it, and I guess what maybe a lot of authors don't realize, because there's one author I know who actually was offered a traditional publishing deal, and he kind of went with a different company, and he kind of went through the same thing I went through, and it's upsetting to an extent because you're so excited to be offered a traditional deal, but there's so many strings that come attached to it, and it's like, sometimes it's just not worth it if it's just not right. So in terms of what I mean by that, so let's say some of the terms they might say, like, obviously they want your rights for forever, which is a big deal. If you're quite attached to your book, it's like, you gotta be like, you can't mess this up for me. Sometimes maybe the royalties they want to give you for things like ebook and stuff like that, sometimes it's not enough, because to print it, to get an ebook out doesn't really cost a lot of money. So when the royalties doesn't match up with that, it's like, they're taking the mick a little bit there. Maybe just in terms of like how they want to promote the book as well, how much effort they would put into it, where they want to sell it, or their plan of marketing. You might kind of feel like, especially when you self-publish a book and how to market your book. So when they kind of want to do something, maybe in yourself that doesn't really work, or you maybe should do it this way, but they have their own plans of how they want to do things. And for me as well, what kind of made me a bit like, I'm not sure, was when we had met up, they were fine with the cover art, because I was doing book 2, getting that ready. I got the cover art done, and they had liked, and I'd met this great illustrator. I wanted to keep working with her. Because I was going to get the first book redone, because I had initially used Giles Greenfield. I don't know if you know Giles Greenfield, but he did the Harry Potter cover, the 4th one, with the dragon. And he's retired. So I couldn't get him to do any of the other covers. So I was like, let me start with someone else and just stick with that person. And I wanted it to be like in contract that, we use this artist unless she's not available. And they had agreed to that, and then they said, we don't want to put that in writing, which is fine, but then it's like, I've got to take your word for it, and I don't know you like that to know if your word is going to be valid, and I won't have a say in it. I don't have a say in the cover art, in the way they want to market it, in the pricing, like nothing. And that, for me, I think with Emily, because I've had it for so long and I've built this brand up, that was just a lot to give away. Where maybe it was another book that maybe I wasn't as attached to, I wouldn't have been as crazy about it. And when I don't know, and maybe when I finish like the book I'm writing now and I get it all done, maybe I sent them, they offer me to deal in the terms that maybe are similar to Emily. I might be better with that because I'm not as attached to it. Whereas because Emily's a series, you get so invested in the character, you don't just want to give it away. I feel like it could have been HarperCollins, and if their terms were like not cool, I would have said no still. Interesting was when I was talking to this author who got offered a deal and he just turned it down as well. I was saying to him, I wonder what a lot of these traditionally published authors have agreed to with their books. It's just interesting because I wonder what their contracts are even like. Whether they just said yes because they just wanted a traditional deal, which is totally fine. But I just can't do that. I can't.
I guess different people want different things. And for some people, the benefit of having a trade publisher is just being able to just focus on your writing. You don't. Of
course.
You don't want to be saddled with marketing. You don't want to
Of
be
course,
saddled
yeah.
with, the different, whereas as a self-publisher, you have on different heads or different
Oh
hats.
yeah.
So, you've got your cover design for your marketing, you've got your promotions, you've got your editing hat. You deal with so many things, and I think it's just one of those, processes that once you get in, you either love it or you hate it.
Yeah.
The whole Marmite effect. And for those people who absolutely love it, they find it difficult, especially control freaks like myself,
Yeah.
to then want to give someone else where your input doesn't match. You don't have any input. Like, for instance, I've got a new book that's coming up next month, right? And I have specific ways of what I feel the cover art should match, and I've had different people that I've talked to, and the interpretation of it is not matching the soul of the book.
Yes, I get it.
So it's kind of hard, for someone like me to then just see something. Let's say I got a trade publisher, and they do something, and I feel it doesn't get the heart of the story.
Yeah,
it would make me feel really unhappy.
Yeah, of course.
I can totally understand where you're coming from from that point of view.
Yeah, I think I totally get the benefits of traditionally published deals. Sometimes when I'm just having a day and you're getting emails from the cover artist and this person, you've got to make all these decisions. And sometimes you think, oh, maybe I should have said yes to this free book deal, then I wouldn't have to worry. But I think a traditional publishing deal takes so much maybe faith in the company to really deliver for you. And there's also that pressure of, if you don't deliver, your book might not sell.
Yes.
And then that's the end of that, really. It's just, there's a lot that goes into it that I think as writers, we don't always take into consideration, because I think we think, oh my gosh, traditional publishing is like the holy grail and that's like the way to go. But when you break it down and when you're offered the deals, you then realize, hold on a second, there's a lot of strings attached to it, and you've just got to be okay with it. And if you're not okay with it, you just can't say yes. And it's just as simple as that. And I didn't realize until maybe I started the author school and I started meeting these publishers because they would come and speak at our events. So when I would talk to them, I didn't realize there was such things as a bad deal, and they would ask for certain things that weren't correct. I had no idea. There's a guy at my church called David, and he's a lawyer for Bloomsbury Publishing House. So he's helped me with some of the deals that he's read through the contracts and stuff. And when he was like, no, but this is wrong because it should say this. And when he's broken things down to me, I was like, oh, they're cheeky for asking that. But when you read it in first glance, it looks amazing.
Yeah.
And it's just, you just give up so much. And I just think you either got to be you don't care, or I don't know. It's a lot.
It's like with most other companies, and let's not just focus mainly, on publishers, because we're talking about publishers now. Everyone's self-serving, right? So they want to stuff that is to their best interest, and that will give them the most money. And then it's all up to you to make sure that you're happy with what you're sending. That's why I guess, if you had any problems, they'll say, go and seek legal advice. So it would make sense for you to go and seek legal advice to make sure that what you're not signing away your liver and your kidneys to the publisher.
The things they put in there that are worded so intelligently that to us normal people, you just think it means X, Y, Z, and then to these lawyers, they're like, no, what they're saying is this. Even the guy that just turned on the deal, he wasn't going to get anyone to look at the contract because financially he couldn't afford to. And I said, I would strongly advise you do not sign this contract until someone's read it for you, who knows about it. He was like, can you read it? And I was like, I can read through it. I said, but don't take me for any type of lawyer. But from reading it, just based on this contract that I've been given, I saw things already that I was like, that doesn't make sense. So I passed it on to David and I said, can you just look at this? And he was just like, okay, it's pretty good, but these are the things they need to agree to and it'll be fine. And then as it went back and forth like it did with me, but his contract I think was in much better condition than my one was, to be honest, which is rude because I was offered 3 books and he was offered 1. So it's like, that's cheeky. But anyway, and then as it went back and forth, they didn't agree to the terms
Yeah.
after all. And they wouldn't put in writing, even though they verbally were like, yeah, we'll do this, but they didn't want to put it in writing.
Yeah.
And then they got really shady, and he was just like, nah, I'm good. And he desperately wants a traditionally publishing deal, but he was like, I would rather just wait and see if something else comes along, you know.
Yeah.
And now David's going to take his book over to Bloomsbury and see if any of the editors take to it. And so fingers crossed that someone there really takes to it and wants to work with him. But I said to him, you are better off just waiting than giving it away to someone that you don't really have enough faith in, because that's it. Once you give it away, that's it.
Yeah. But
you know,
I guess, go on.
And like a book isn't like a dance routine that you can just make up really quick. It's like a story takes like so long to make and takes so much of your time. It needs to go to the right home, and maybe you doing it to do.
Sorry, say that again.
Maybe just you investing in your book and publishing it, sometimes that's just the right way to do it.
Yeah.
Not giving it away to a publishing house. Sometimes that's just the best way for that particular book.
Yeah. I mean, again, different people want, different things, because sometimes, and I can sort of, being a self-publisher myself, I can see both sides of the equation. Because, for instance, if you're going to get a book, make a book available, you've got to pay the printers, you've got to pay the cover designer, you've got to, they've got all these things to make it compete with the big boys out there. You've got to invest quite a bit of your own money. To get it to be the best version that it can be. And so even if you had a book that was, say, it was going to retail for £10, at least, let's just pick a figure out of the hat, we could say at least £4 of that would go to the printer.
Yeah.
Right? So you're then left with £6. And then if you want a store to keep it, a store would have to take their own discount. You've got to get their own trade discount.
Yeah.
Right? So you give it, you then take, so let's say you give them, so apparently the standard trade discount is 55%. But let's just say they take 50%. Let's say you give them 50%. So out of £10, that you're then left with £1. So £1 for all your hard work.
I know.
That's, and that's basically why, the big boys or all the publishers, they offer such small commissions.
Yeah.
The costs, they haven't, from that £1, the investment of the editor, the cover designer, the formatter, all those things that goes into making the book, that's where they get the money from that £1.
Yeah.
And whereas when you're not involved in the process, you just think, wow, this book is worth £10. I'm probably going to go back home with £8. No, it doesn't work that way. So sometimes, it's just sort of you trying to balance. Okay, well, someone is offering you money up front.
Yeah.
Right? Do you just take it and run and go and do something else? Because then that money you can then use to invest.
Yeah, that's true.
In a self-published book yourself.
That's true. That's really true.
It's just different people, want different things. Now, if one of the big five then offers me at least 6 digits, I will sell my self-publishing. I don't mind. That's just me. 6 or 7 digits, I will do that. Well, that's amazing, and I didn't even get to take the drink from you. What would you like to drink? Even though we're almost done now, it's almost time to go. But we can get you a nice virtual drink.
Oh yeah, I'd like a milkshake if possible.
Okay, what type of milkshake would you like?
Like a vanilla milkshake with some malt in it. Have you had vanilla milkshake with malt before? It's like the best thing ever.
Really? No, I haven't.
I had it yesterday with my friend. I always get it. And my friend was like, malt? What do you mean? I was like, no, it gives you that extra little kick. It's like so good. And she was like, oh, I don't know. It sounds crazy. And she had it and she was like, that's so good. Literally, a bit of malt in a vanilla milkshake. It'll change your life. I promise.
Wow. Okay. What store or what shop did you get it from?
It was in Byron Burger. But any diner kind of vibe, they should have it. It's so good. Try it.
The last time that I had a vanilla milkshake, it was just with cream on top of it.
Oh.
I just thought. They just said, "Oh, we've got a nice." Well, it was good because it was boiling hot, and it was just nice to have
that's the best.
that coolness. That coolness just go down your throat, cool your body temperature down.
Yeah.
Because it felt like we were very soon. Right, but it's been an absolute pleasure. So we've had people come in and say how they've gone from being self-published to working with trade publishers, and it's been quite interesting to see, someone go from being self-published to then having a publishing, a literary agent. That's quite amazing. So if someone was starting off now, what advice would you give someone? What is it that you know now? Apart from, we've gone through the different things to watch out for if you're offered a trade contract, but outside of that, if someone wanted to start off, what advice would you give to them now? Something that you know now that you didn't know when you started.
Oh gosh, there's so many. Let me find one. I guess what I would tell someone who's starting off is that if you are trying to get an agent, and you're unsuccessful, to keep going. Even that means the book that you've been sending out, if you believe in it and people love it, you publish it yourself. Because I didn't know that if I had self-published a book, I didn't know that an agent could still sign you from that book. I thought it was not impossible, but I just didn't think that happened. Yeah. So when I got offered the deal from the agent, one of the first things they asked me was, do you still own the rights to this book, or do the self-publishers have the rights to it? And I was like, I don't know. Let me find out. And I was like, I'm sure I do, but I know some self-publishing deals, they own the rights to it. Okay. And but I just didn't think that was possible. When I self-published, I literally wrote off the fact that I could ever get an agent. That just wouldn't happen. So I guess I would tell someone, just keep going. If that's what you want to get, you'll get it. If you want a traditional deal, you will get it at some point. It might not be the right deal for you. And maybe as you get older, you have more experience, your views on things might change a bit. Because, if someone said to me, you'll turn on a free book deal, I would have laughed in your face if someone told me that. So the fact that it's happened now is it just is what it is. So I guess I just tell people, just don't give up. If that's your goal, then just keep going for it.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. Now, so two quick questions, or two questions before we'll call it today. Okay. What other than your book, because we've got to promote each other, what other self-published book have you read recently?
What other self-published book have I read recently? I read this book called Perillion by Liam Kleck. He's the author, actually. I was offered a book deal, actually. His book is called, Not Just Transgender. So he was born a female, and he's now transitioned into a male. And it's his story, and it's so interesting. It's just he's had the most fascinating life. It's just really, really interesting. So I've been reading that at the moment. I went to Helen throws a PR party every summer. So a few months ago, I went to her party, and there was she always has loads of books, because she represents different self-published and traditional published authors. So there was loads and loads of self-published books available. So I just grabbed one each. So I've got a stack of them that I'm trying to get through at the moment. So yeah, that's quite a lot. So I'll read any book as long as I feel like it looks good and looks interesting, and the quality is good, because I'm very thinking about quality of books. If the quality is good as well, then I'll read it for sure.
Okay. Perfect. So basically now that's going to make it three questions. Two that are originally said. So we've done one. So what has been the advantages of having a PR person?
Oh my gosh. So I did my own PR for about 6 months. I didn't know the rules of PR. I had no idea when you're going to launch a book, you should start PR 6 months prior to the book. I kind of did that in sense of I built on my social media platforms and that stuff like that. And I had a website, but I didn't know how to get a newspaper to do an interview with me, all that kind of stuff like that. With Helen, because she was a journalist prior, she already has so many contacts in the industry, and she reads every book that she represents. So she really knows how to target your book. I mean, my book got to CBBC development team.
Oh, wow.
And they contacted me about potentially doing a series on the book. At the time, I don't think they had the facilities to show the powers. So I'm definitely going back to them again, because they should have the facilities in 2016. But it got to places that I could never have taken the book to, because I didn't have the contacts or the credibility that maybe I would have now or something. So I think it's definitely worth investing in a PR. I know people think they're like so expensive. I thought the same thing, and I was like, I don't know if I can afford you. That was my first thing I said to her on the phone. But they're not. Like, she's very flexible. I know an author that published a book and they haven't had any PR on it, which I said was a big mistake. And you know, I think it's a shame if you spent so much time on a book and you don't want to put it out there. You know, it's a business, a book, and like any business, you need to promote it. So it's definitely worth investing in a good PR. It doesn't sell you dreams as well. You know, some PRs are like, oh, I can get you on this show, and they just sell you a whole bunch of dreams. And it's like, you just want a PR that's just very real, and I'll just be like, this is where I feel like we can get you in, and then they deliver it. That's what you want in a great PR.
Okay, so third question, which is actually going to be my fourth question.
Okay.
You know, when you say all these fabulous things, right? And then you then sort of get the brain cells, you know, drum rolling, and you're thinking, okay, great. So, I'm sure, you know, Helen would like you to put all of the business out there in the world. Can you give us a range? What is a typical range that one can expect a great or good PR? Not a dodgy one, but, you know, one that's worth the money.
Oh, okay. So, like, with Helen, just on the top of my head, so I think maybe for like, I don't know, maybe like 2 months worth of PR, it probably cost you about £500.
Oh, okay.
Something like that. I know I think she has a rate on her website, I think, but it's something along them lines. I remember when I started with her, I mean, you know, I was working in retail at the time. I was like, I don't have any money. And I teach dance sometimes, so you know, that's all I can give you. And I think I paid her like maybe 500 quid. She did possibly about 3 months worth of PR for me. I think mine was a little bit easier because I already had done stuff on my book, so there was something already there. So it wasn't straight from scratch. But I had no idea that the PR she was doing for me is that I should have really started this from before the book started. That when the book launched, it would have kind of gained its own momentum. So not as expensive as you think. I think with a good PR, you should tell them what you can afford. And they usually can kind of tailor a service for you of what they can offer within the money that you can pay them. So and I think I paid in installments as well, because I think that was the only way I could afford to pay it. So a good PR should be kind of okay with stuff like that. I think I've been approached by a PR company. They're quite a big one. I can't remember their name now, but they represented apparently big people. And they were like trying to say, it would cost like these grands to do this stuff. But I was like, oh, hell no, not with my monies. So with stuff like that, I just think, what are you really going to get me? For these brands, what can you get me that'll be so different? For that money I'm paying you, better get me a film deal. Do you know what I'm saying? So
exactly.
That to me is ridiculous. You don't have to spend that much on it. I would prefer to use an external PR than use an in-house publishing team's PR personally. Because an external PR should be quite selective about the books they'll take on, whereas an in-house PR obviously promotes so many books. I feel like it gets lost. And there's only so much attention they can give you. Even now with traditional deals, they tell you, we'll promote for you, but we expect you to do your own PR. Because they know in themselves they can't promote your book as much as you would want them to promote your book. They know that if they're pretty honest with themselves. So I would always invest in an external PR, personally. So literally PR, they're good. So go to them.
Okay. So what has been the best deal? What has been the return on investment for you with Helen? What has been the best thing that she's done? Returned in money in your pockets?
I think for me, I would say it's more opportunities I've been given.
Okay.
Because of Helen, I've been in like the Mirror, and I've been in magazines, and I've done radio stuff, and I had like a spread in this children's magazine. It was like a double-page spread of my book, which was crazy, and the CBBC thing, and you know, it's just the opportunities I've been given from this book that I self-published, for me, has been insane.
Yeah.
You know, I remember my friend, she worked for BBC. I think she was doing work experience, and it was during the Olympics when it was in London, and they wanted to get creatives that lived in East London. I don't live in East London, I live in North London, but I'm part of Hackney still, where I live.
Yeah.
And it was in Hackney, and they said to me, you know, do you want to be one of the authors that we interview? And I was like, yeah, of course. It was one of my first press for my book, and then main author, whoever that was, pulled out.
Yeah.
So I became the featured author as part of the Olympics, and that was like so cool, like with BBC and stuff. And it was just really, really amazing. And it made me realize it doesn't matter how your book is published.
Yes.
You care. It's more about, do they like it? Is the quality good?
Yeah.
I don't think CBC would look at a self-published book, but I don't think they care that it was self-published. You know what I mean? So I think investing in PR is the best thing. So I think every opportunity I've gotten from the book, the author school would not have happened if I didn't have the book out. I wouldn't have had an agent if, you know, all this cool stuff that's gone on. And now, because of like stuff like the author school, I can now talk more confidently to these professionals in the industry, where if I was just an author and I didn't have the author school, I don't feel like they would have paid me that much attention.
Yeah.
You know, so it's opened doors for me that it's like, I didn't think this one book would make as much impact in my life as it has. So that's why I'm like, I can't wait for book 2 to see what that brings. Do you know what I mean? If it brings double, then that's even better. So yeah, it's been really good.
Fabulous. Thank you very much. I think this has definitely been very insightful. I know I've picked up loads of things from, you know, just having you on, and I can imagine that a lot of the listeners would pick up stuff just from
hopefully.
because you're quite knowledgeable, you're quite passionate as well.
Thank you.
Okay, so now the final question.
Oh yeah.
How can people get in touch with you if they want to?
Oh, I'm pretty easy to get in touch with. So I have a website, which is just a-bello.com. But I'm on Twitter and on Instagram and Facebook as A Bello, or as A Bello, or as Emily Knight. I am. So I'm pretty easy. The author school as well. It's just the authorschool.com, which is quite easy to remember. There's always, I respond to everything unless I get a crazy email, then I usually don't respond to that, but I respond to usually everything. If you have any questions to ask me, or if you want to get in touch with Helen about PR, then, you know, we'll always get back, and we'll always try and help people as much as possible. I think authors grow if we kind of help each other and we, you know, build up each other. I think when people are very kind of to themselves and they don't want to kind of share information, I find that quite concerning. I'm very much like, if I can help you in any way, then I will help you. If I don't know the answers, I'll tell you I don't know the answers. If I can figure it out for you, then I will. And I think that's the best way to get through life, is just to help each other. So yeah, message me, tweet me, whatever you want. And yeah, I'm around.
I think that's one of the best things that I found about, you know, sort of the author community. Most people, and I wouldn't say 100% of authors, but I would say most authors are actually quite helpful.
Yeah. Definitely.
Okay, perfect. It's been absolutely amazing.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for turning up. It's literally been absolutely amazing.
Thank
and
you.
I hope you will come to the show some other time again. And you know,
definitely.
Program.
Oh, thank you. I'd love to come back again. Order another milkshake. I would love that.
Yes. Okay, well, I will speak to you soon then.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone. Okay, bye now.